first started Arbonne, it was like, oh, this is exciting. I'm going to, earn this much money and get a car and have all of these, incredible things. And then over the past 9 years, it's definitely evolved and deepened into this like real purpose and this mission to transform the world through incredible leadership.
Yeah.
And I see this business as a vehicle to take us to this new dimension, this new paradigm where we help people to become self-aware, lead with intuition, lead with love. And that's what the world really, really needs. And I know you're super passionate about that because our founder, Peter, said, when you make women millionaires, you'll change the world.
Yeah.
And I love his vision from 40 years ago, how he saw this would be a vehicle to do exactly that. Because when you've got people who have servant hearts, they have time, they have money, they want to give back, and they have the resources to do so, that's when the world changes. And this is why, like, I really wanted to get you on the podcast, because I know you are absolutely one of those servant leaders. If I think about someone who I would love to run the country or run the world, it would be Sarah Dunning. And if the world was full of leaders like you, which you are creating within your business, because it's all about duplication and helping people to evolve and become leaders, that's when we really make a change, isn't it?
Totally. You said that perfectly. Boom. That's why you are where you are. That's totally it. It's totally it. And I always say to people, like, we have a product sales business, we sell products, but it's actually a transformational leadership program. That's really what it is, because it's an opportunity. And that's the thing. You don't have there's not that many opportunities out there where you can go on that sort of growth program, where you're accountable to it and you're accountable to others, and you have the opportunity to step up, and you have to get out your comfort zone. And you have to do things that you wouldn't normally hold yourself to do without a group around you, a community that are relying on you to step up and go again and improve and become better, and all sorts of stuff. So that's really what our business is, and that's why you're so right. I absolutely love it, because I feel like we need more of those people in the world, but they just bring that energy as well. Yeah.
And that's it. Like, what I love is, like, from you developing a leader, you create ripples of other leaders. And it's just this incredible compound effect of like vision and belief and empowerment and elevation that just then lifts the world up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're experiencing this now with the Be Well Club that we, have just launched quite recently. And, I'm seeing people in the Be Well Club shift their mindset because they are walking around every day filled with so much more gratitude. They're affirming what they do want. Then they now have this vision that they never had before, and they're held by this amazing community. And every person that they meet in their office or when they're traveling to work is going to get positively impacted by that.
Yeah. 100%.
And that really is how we change the world.
That's it. That's what. And when we created Be Well, a few months ago, like that, what I think we have in our company, our unique selling point is the leaders. Like they're the leaders that creates the company and the culture that we have in the community. Exactly all those things that you said. And we had this epiphany of like, our customers don't get to experience that. Like, they might not want to build a business with Arbonne, but they can absolutely have all the, the great stuff that we have that we love about Arbonne too, why people become obsessed, with the company. So we've brought the community and the personal growth and the accountability that you need with that, and all that other good stuff to our customers, because you're so right. The testimonial, like, brings me to tears, like reading testimonials, because I know what impact it's going to have on people. And it's one of those things that until you're in it, you don't know how much you need it. Because it was a bit like me before I started Arbonne. I had no awareness of how low my confidence was, and actually I wasn't in a great place until you start to, like you said, the first thing is awareness. The awareness hits, and you think, oh, I've got a lot to work on. Like, you start to hear that internal dialogue in your mind and your ego talking, and you just think, oh, that is not good. Like, I wouldn't say that to my best friend. Why would I say it to myself? And then you start to learn how to change that. You start to learn how to change that programming that you've had in there since the age of 8 that you live by. You start to change, your reactions towards things, your relationships with people. It's just, the impact is too huge to even put in a conversation, but that's what Be Well is doing. And it's so exciting the movement that's happening there. I can't sleep at night. I'm that excited about that, because I just think that is going to change. Like I said, I don't think it's going to change the world.
Totally. And like, would you be this person with this vision and this outlook on life if it wasn't for the vehicle of Arbonne?
Definitely not. I dread to think where I'd be, because I can't see anything of getting better. The slight edge it would have been on not the failure scale, but just going in the opposite direction, because I would have had a lack of awareness. And I think naturally you just go in the other direction. Whereas if you're aware, you make the right choices. You know, you're faced with a choice. You think, oh, this is a choice. I can either sit and watch Netflix, or I can, read this book, or I can press snooze on my alarm clock, or I can get up and work on my mindset every morning, or I can pick up a chocolate bar from the fridge. But in the moment where you're eating that horrible whatever it is, you can instead choose a better choice. You're aware in that moment and you make the better choice. Tiny choices compounded over time.
This is it. It's like, you can do a coaching program for 6 months and learn all of this, but then is it an ongoing support system that's nurturing you and forcing you? Like, I can remember, like, oh, you used to give me nightmares. Whenever I went to an event, okay, my listeners will know public speaking was my biggest fear, and now I've got a podcast speaking. How fun is that? 5 minutes before the presentation, you imagine a room full of 100 people at the Jury's in Leeds, and Sarah Dunning taps me on the shoulder and says, I wondered if you could stand up and share your story. And I'd quickly run to the toilet, puke up, and just go bright red and go, okay, I can say no and I can run out the building, but that's not going to get me any further. So yeah, thank you for pushing me through all of that. And I would not have put myself in those situations if it wasn't for this business. It's like a constant, like, being uncomfortable to grow. And it's this courage that you're supported and held in that transforms you. There's almost no escape from the growth.
Totally, yeah. And it was the same for me. The guy who mentored me, he did the same thing. And I actually used to shake with fear. Like, there's nothing worse for me than public speaking. And now I can speak in front of 16,000 people and just be calm because I'm so aware of my mind, and I just know that that's just irrational fear, and you can just calm it down. So it is controlling the mind and just being able to stay peaceful. But yeah, you're so right. It's that 6-month course, it can definitely can help, but someone being invested in you as well, I think that's massive. Someone being invested in you for a lifetime. I have people that the business wasn't for them and they've gone on to other places, but they're still my dear friends that I genuinely care about, and I want them to do well. I want to help them, want to support them. So it's not just like if you're in, you're in, and if you're out, you're out. It's like once you're in the Arbonne family, like, you're just part of, you build friendships, isn't it? It's so much more than just a business. You start to love the people like your family. They are my family. Like, I feel like Arbonne are my family.
Totally.
That I care about.
Yeah, deeply, for sure.
Yeah.
And I know along my journey, there was a point where, the Grant Cardone, the Gary Vaynerchuk, the personal development, the masculine was just like, I kind of hitting a bit of a brick wall. And I was like, okay, I'm working really hard. I'm hustling. I'm doing this grind. I'm up at this time, working till whatever time. And I hit a bit of a brick wall in terms of my growth and development. And then I had a year where it was completely life shattering. So I lost my mum suddenly. I lost tons of money in investment, and then I lost my driving license. So in the space of a year, I was in this position that I'd never had before in my life ever. I hit rock bottom. And so from that place, I then started to think, well, there must be more to this life than what I've been experiencing. And that's when my personal spiritual journey began to evolve and unravel in this whole the world of manifestation and energy and vibration. Was this like untapped world that I was just so mesmerized by. So how has your leadership and evolution transformed along the way as well?
Yeah, because that was a big key point for me too when I was opened up to that world and those teachings. And for me, we our mutual friend Mellor and Dean, we were living in LA because we'd just been on our annual trip to Maui, and we were just stopped on the way back, just decided to stay there for a few months. I think it was 3 months we stayed there. And our friend Gordon, who's also our friend in Arbonne, took us to watch Marianne Williamson, her lectures. She was lecturing every Monday night in LA. Now I look back and think, oh my goodness, I can't believe I went to watch her live every Monday night, because at the time I didn't realise who she was really and what she'd done and what she created. And yeah, we just went to watch. I remember at first sat there thinking, I've got no idea what she's really talking about. Like, I just couldn't tune in to how she was talking. But we just kept going back week after week after week after week, and read all the books, and just she really started to open up my mind to a different way of thinking. Yeah, so that was huge, because I really did get to the point with personal development where I just thought, I feel like I've read, they just sort of repeat what all the other books say. It's just very much of a regurgitation of the same information at a certain point when you've read, and it's amazing, like reading through all those books. I never changed reading those books. I loved it. But then you do get that, right, I've nailed all the success habits. I know how to be successful in certain things, but then there's another level, like it says, another layer that I think hugely helps leadership and your own personal growth. And yeah, that's what happened for me. So then that led me to Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and all those sorts of people. Untethered, in fact, A New Eckhart Tolle was probably the biggest. A New Earth was a big game-changing book for me. Still probably hold that as my number one favorite book of all time. I read that at least once a year. And then Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And I love his Surrender Experiment as well. I love that book. Those few books, I just remember reading those and just almost like sitting there with my mouth open going, oh my goodness. Game-changing.
So how have those teachings, how have they kind of aided you in your leadership? Like, have you got a different perspective on life, on how to do business? Like, how has it impacted you?
Yeah, it's definitely given me a different perspective on life. I think one of the major lessons was there's only ever two feelings, love and fear. And being aware of that, so that's a different level of awareness of like, oh, okay, every single emotion falls into one or two categories, love or fear. And actually the only objective ever is to be in a state of love. That's my number one goal now, to be in a state of love and be present, because that's for me living, and what the ultimate goal is. Like, the ultimate goal before was like, a financial goal or, different like house or something like that. But now it's like, actually the ultimate goal is to be 100% present every day. And that's definitely helped by, you're not worried about time and money. It definitely helps to be able to be present in a nice environment. But that's the goal. And I think, learning that love and fear, and that, and being able to recognize that in other people, and have forgiveness another massive word, and have compassion for those people that don't necessarily treat you well, but just think actually they're just in a state of fear. And for that, I can have forgiveness and have compassion. So no matter how someone treats you, no matter how bad it's been, it comes back to they're just in a state of fear. And I can forgive them for that, and I can sympathize, and I can have compassion for them. And like Brené Brown says, such a big fan of Brené Brown too. And when she said that on a documentary, I don't know who's watched that on Netflix, but Call to Courage, and her saying that statement of, what I realized was everybody's doing their best. That so resonated with me after all that learning from Marianne Williamson. Like, yeah, that's it. That's totally it. You just don't feel anger or resentment or jealousy or anything. You just think everyone's doing their best. And actually the best place to be is in that state of love. And this comes up a lot, obviously, like you said, in that world of like driving and business, and it can be quite competitive, and you can look at other people and have a bit like, oh, why is that not me? But actually the most powerful thing you can flip that to be is like, I'm so happy for them. Like, I'm so happy that they're there. Because when you get onto that frequency, it's coming to you. So yeah, so many things like that. I mean, there's so much, but I think that's one of the major lessons.
Yeah, and it's been really important for me because, I thought I'd be at the top of the company in 2 years, and I wanted to be the best in the company. I wanted to be the best at everything. And it's really, my journey has just been, stripping back the ego, coming back to the soul, and just really focusing on the purpose of why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And this is a big reason why I created the podcast, is because I really want people to come back home to themselves and their souls and why they're here. And you're not here to get, a 5-bedroom mansion. You're not here to get a nice car and nice clothes. They're things that you're going to get along the way.
Yeah.
Like, what's your purpose, and how do you want to show up in the world, and like who do you want to be, and how much love do you want to give others?
Yeah, all everyone wants is like why we always do everything. Like we think if we achieve that, then we'll be happy. If we do that, then we'll be happy. That ultimately, everyone wants to be happy in that state of joy and elation. That's really what everyone's searching for and reaching for, isn't it? We just sometimes think that those things will bring it, but actually, you can choose it right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Choose joy right now.
yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay, so your vision, let's just say 20 or 30 years from now, with this incredible vehicle of network marketing, with people who are leading with love, who are self-aware, who have servant hearts, who have the money and the time to give back to the world, like how different do you perceive the world to be in 20 or 30 years time?
Oh, let's just go that it'll be a place of peace, like peace, non-judgment. I think that's huge right now. Um,
Mm.
yeah, we all just need to get back into that state of love. That's why we're here. We're born as babies in this little state of love. And that's where we want to stay, isn't it? Being present for
Mm.
this moment, appreciating the small things. But yeah, but with that, yeah, just change it, change it. I mean, that impact of being in that vibrational frequency of love is going to have a huge impact on the world, mainly bringing
Mm.
peace, I think.
Yeah. And I honestly don't know any other better way, any other quicker way to create that than through network marketing.
I actually
And,
don't.
you know, I've been on so many kind of like ups and downs, like, why am I doing this? Thinking it's one thing, then it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper.
Mhm.
And like, it's really become this like overriding feeling like every day I'm pulled by this mission. Like, in order to create this world where everyone is happy and just feels fulfilled, like we have to lead with love, and this business is the
Yeah.
best way to do that because we're creating leaders, we're helping people to follow their dreams. If people are trapped in a 9 to 5 doing something that they hate just to make
Mm,
money and then don't have the time to spend it in, that's not a world of people fulfilling their purpose. When
no.
people have the time and the money and they're in a community and an environment where they're growing and thriving, that's when we really impact the world. And
Yeah.
network marketing to me is the vehicle to create change, and why I believe it is the way to take us to this new earth, and the fastest way to do that and take us to this new paradigm.
Yeah, I completely agree. So well put. That's exactly it. Yeah, 100%. And that's why we're here. Like we were born here to have fun, to play, to be light, to be joyous. And we've all got into these like you say, like just things that just don't add up. Like just doing something to earn money, to pay bills, to wait for the weekend or wait for your so many days holiday a year. That definitely wasn't the plan. I mean, if you love your job, that's different. Like, if you love what you're doing, you love your job, it brings you joy, you're living on purpose, you're contributing, you feel like you're alive, feel like you're in a state of, joy, then brilliant. That's what you're meant to be doing. But I honestly, when you speak to people, especially as we speak to a lot of people when we're sharing our opportunity, I honestly could say 99% of people that I speak to do not love what they do. If they didn't get paid, they wouldn't be doing it.